We have lived near each other and known each other since the age of like 3, 4, or 5, like since we were kids. And we went through the same schools together, and then just about 6 years ago, it just became a thing. I wanted it to be a reminder to this person that their dark times would subside and that things would improve eventually. That idea of just hopefully being reminded that your difficulties would eventually leave you alone was just an idea I was happy to share with the world. Cos and I, we first worked together when we made my song Glory. He's the perfect sort of studio companion for me because he pushes me to the point that I almost don't want to be there. And then a week later, I'm so glad he did it, you know? We were putting the song together and it could have existed so many different ways. I always want to stay true to the acoustic side of things, but then you also don't want to seem like you're sort of a one-trick pony and not sort of culturally relevant and all that. So we were trying to make it work with like programmed drums and acoustic guitar, and Cos is perfect. He won't stop until it's right. I could have showed you all the scars at the start, but that was always the most difficult part. I think it's so important to let all of yourself go and kind of come what may, you know, just deal with everything. But at least if something doesn't work out, you can say, no, they knew every part of me. This is all good. See, I'm in love with how your soul is a mix of chaos and art and how you never try to keep them apart. You open yourself up to that person's chaos and their beauty, and those things have to live together. And I think it's a beautiful thing when someone doesn't shy away from having those sides to themselves. It's the same as not hiding those scars. It's you got to show everything you are. And so chaos and art is probably, like, not to pat myself on the back, but it's probably a nice way to just sum up love in general. It's both things. That's why it's exciting. That's why it's worthwhile, I think. It's just a beautiful thing to accept every part of somebody. I wrote some words and then I stared at my feet, became a coward when I needed to speak. I think I find it easier to express myself through song because it's just, you can kind of be cryptic to an extent, and I hide everything in there. It's like therapy for me every single day, and I take it for granted, I think. I was just kind of slagging myself, just like, it's easy for me to like, because often when I sing too, I'll look down at the guitar, so it's just part of me just saying like, that's how I get my feelings out, yeah, it's without actually telling anybody. I guess love took on a different kind of meaning for me, so when I go, just know it kills me to leave. To have been there from the very beginning when I had nothing going on, because also I had nothing happening, so I was at home at all times. We went from spending all the time together to nothing. It was very jarring, but yeah, it's a weirdo life. But I'm determined to not like complain about it, because I get to do what I do, you know. To all the stars that light the road, don't ever leave that girl so cold. Never let me down, just lead me home. It was similar to the overarching sort of theme of the song, just don't leave that person lonely. Currently, I am away, I cannot help, but like I need the world to be on our side here. And so that's what I wanted that to be. I just wanted whatever night that person was stuck in, I just wanted it to be as pleasant as it could be. Don't tell me this is all for nothing. I can only tell you one thing. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. On those nights where they feel overwhelmed by things and feel like things aren't necessarily in a good place, just to know that I am somewhere thinking of them. And I felt like that was a small consolation because I'm constantly traveling and I'm always out there, but especially where I'm from, there's an awful lot of stargazing to be done. Like, it's just fields, essentially. Like, the view goes for miles. And so I like that idea of that person being there and being a small bit reassured by the fact that I am thinking of them while around. I see everything you can be. I see the beauty that you can't see. On the nights you feel outnumbered, baby, I'll be out there somewhere. I think that's something that happens so often, where somebody you're in love with doesn't have any idea why you feel that way, you know, and you work so hard to try and show somebody why they're so special, and that person not seeing those things in themselves is almost why you love them even more. It's such a disarming thing for someone so special to not see it in themselves. So I have, yeah, that line is just, I'm trying to just make someone see why they're so great. But there's beauty here that's yet to depart. There's still a song inside the halls in the dark. I sing about hallways a lot, like a strange amount. I've always been hooked on like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all that stuff. So to me, I love this idea of, even when I went to university, it was like this old cathedral, and I was always obsessed with these like old hallways. I love the idea of a song in the darkness and it representing just like a glimmer of hope or whatever it is. And so I wanted this second verse to just be a more positive thing and for it to have a certain amount of light in it. I'll come for you if you just stay where you are, and I'll always hold your hand in the car. A gesture as small as just like holding somebody's hand while you're driving, it just shows you're still on their side, no matter how difficult things are. I've never sort of experienced it, but I think it's probably a really difficult thing for some people. When things are hard, they probably act a different way towards that person. It's just crazy, because it's like, why would you forget that you care about that person? And so that was just my thing in that song. I was like, no matter how hard this gets, let's not forget that like we fell in love in the first place, you know? And there'll be days when it's difficult, but I ask you to never leave behind the reciprocal. We're past that. Love is not designed for the cynical, so we have that, we can have that. You should never let your affection and the way you act be influenced by anything. It's just like how you care about somebody is how you feel. So you should just be forthright with that all the time. You never know when the last time you're going to talk to that person is. So love isn't designed for cynical people for me. I just think as an idea, love is just not designed for people who act that way. How long can you wait for the one you deserve? Light on, never let it out, never let it out. How much time are you willing to spend at this, and how long are you willing to wait for this to work out, you know? I wanted that light at home for me to never go out. I wanted that to be something I could always go back to. If I'm gone, if you ever leave, I hope that you learn to fight on, to fight on. I think worst case scenario, if that were to take place, that you had to leave somebody like that, you would hope that through your time together, you have instilled a certain set of values in them that they know how to just move forward in life. And if you were to meet somebody else, to like treat them in a good way just through being in a beautiful relationship in the past. I remember hearing a quote, I'm not sure who said it, but that art is never completed, it's only abandoned. So you just get it to a point and then you leave it alone, yeah.